Football with friends is fun as hell. Welcome back, Orange Bloods Live. I am Cody Carpentier, joined as always by my main man, Alex Dunlap. We're here again, another night. It's Wednesday, January 22nd, a beautiful night, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, every single weeknight. And we're here to talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of Texas Longhorns. We got some updates from Jason in the 321 column. There's another 2025 prospect, Alex, that is potentially going to join what is already ranked as the number one class, according to Rivals. Rivals, who released their 5 stars yesterday, released their top 250 today. There were 17 Longhorns that made that cut. But I think first and foremost, where I want to start is this linebacker who's on the thumbnail, AJ Tuitele. AJ Tuitele, 2025 linebacker, receives an offer from Texas. And there's, I guess, a lot of different pulls here, Alex, with the thought process behind this kid. Is 6'3", 205 pounds, class of 2025. The only class of 2025 player that we kind of have knowledge of that they're targeting right now that's still part of this, potentially part of this class. He's from Mojave in North Las Vegas. He was prior committed to Washington State. He committed there in November, decommitted on the 8th of January, so just 2 weeks ago. His only Power 5 offers come from Arizona, who's been on board for a while. He's had an offer from Arizona since October. He's got an offer from, of course, Washington State. USC offered him 2 weeks ago, and Texas and Johnny Nansen offered him just yesterday. This kid looks nice. He's a 3-star. He's only a 5.5 rating on Rivals. Were you able to take a look at him, Alex?
Yeah, but you guys will have to excuse my voice, man. I'm sick. I watched him, and I think that it's just important to think about, how he would fit into the defense, right? Because you look at him, you're like, all right, dude, is this a linebacker or did you think he could play safety? Long safety? I mean,
that's not I'm going to pull up his quick cut, which is like a huddle version. It's a free video out there. We're not going to get any type of
and this is from the state championship game up there in Nevada, right?
Correct.
Okay, and he probably makes like 20 tackles in this football game.
So the interesting thing, Alex, I don't know if you saw his stats from the season. So here's his tape from the state championship game. You can see him flying around like a missile.
He finds his landmarks and he just takes such good angles, man. Look at it, good leverage, head across the bow, drives through. To me, I just bring up the safety stuff because he reminds me of a guy that would play in the Texas defense the exact same way that Maurice Blackwell did, and he was a transition safety who would just they would play him in the. I think that he's what
205.
Tuitele. Yeah, he's only 205 now, and so you want to get to be anything other than a sub package guy. You're going to have to you're going to have to get to 230 or so, I think, to play at Texas. And do you think he can get there? He's got a pretty long frame.
So that's the thing. A lot of the comments on Orange Bloods are kind of a couple of directions. So I wrote my response to, let's see, I got to bring back up where it was at. I guess Ketch said he didn't. Ketch says that he, according to the numbers, he thinks it doesn't make any sense. But according to Ketch, why is this offer being made? By the numbers, it's a wasted offer, according to Ketch. This is what one of the posters said back to me. I think numbers-wise, it makes sense that it kind of doesn't make sense in that the class is kind of complete. You look at the room as far as the class, like they just signed Bo Barnes, Jonathan Cunningham. They got Ty Anthony in the last class. That's 3 linebackers in these last 2 classes. They add Brad Spence from Arkansas, who's a junior. LaFau's a junior. Hill's a junior. He's going to be gone after next year at least. This kid is, to me, and this is exactly what I wrote up in response, to me, if they bring in Tuitele and he potentially goes to Texas, again, they're looking at potentially trying to get him on a visit to Texas, not this weekend, but next week, because I think he's already got one planned this coming weekend. My thought was, if they can get him in and he can gain 15 to 20 pounds in a year, so like if he hypothetically signed with Texas, he would show up this summer, spend the whole season with Texas, plus have next offseason. If he can gain 15 to 20 pounds in that frame, and you look at this kid being 225 to 230 pounds come 2026 season, you're not asking him to play, but you're asking him to develop. And I think when you look at a player like this, with this frame, with this length, I do think he tackles a bit high, but he's a missile playing linebacker. I mean, this guy had statistically, Alex, 167 tackles in 13 games,
Yeah.
37 tackles for loss. And when you watch his like season long tape, the tackles for loss, I mean, it's just like it. You see the number and you're like, that's a ton. And then you turn it on and you're like, he's so fast in closing that it makes sense why he has so many TFLs. And to me, it's I don't really want to compare him to anybody because I think he's a very not very raw, but I think he's rather raw, freaky kind of athlete, long, lengthy. I think he tackles really high often, but that's something as a developmental player, you get in, you're watching Anthony Hill for an entire year tackle, you're and learning from Johnny Nansen. To me, it feels sort of like a Nansen, like a Nansen, like a developmental my guy situation. Like Nansen came in last year, kind of late, coached all year, and now he comes through the process. And I'm sure he recruited some of the guys through the process, but this feels like he found this dude and he's like, this guy can come in here and I can mold him to potentially be the next in line at the linebacker position. And I mean, in the class that you're looking forward to, like 2026, there's no Anthony Hill. You got LaFau. I assume Spence is returning unless he has some sort of crazy year. He plays his goes to pro or something.
I forgot. Does Spence have 2 years left?
Yeah, Spence is a junior. Then you have Ty Anthony, you have Bo Barnes, and you have Cunningham as well at the other side with LaFau and Spence. But it's like if you had Tuitele as that sixth linebacker entering 2026, again, assuming you don't have somebody from the 2026 class there, who we know they've been in on Tyler Atkinson, who I talked about in my Behind the Enemy Lines piece the other day, in that he was at Georgia last week and Georgia's nabbing him hard. He's from Georgia. Kosi Akpola is a guy from Texas who's a top-ranked outside linebacker. Tank King, who we know Texas is heavily trying to pursue. He's a number one inside linebacker in the country. He's from Texas. I think A&M's going hard after him. And then DeQueeves Beck is another inside linebacker. Like, there's a bunch of good backers they're going to be targeting in the 2026 class. But even without that, I think what this kid brings you is kind of free money, a dart, a my guy for Nansen, a developmental prospect. He'll be the lowest. I think he'll be the low. I got to pull up my my recruiting sheet that I was working on this past summer, but I think he'll be the lowest graded 5.5, the lowest graded non-special teamer on the roster. If he were
on the roster,
yeah, because everybody that Sark has had the last, I think 3 cycles has been a 5.6 or better on the Rivals grades, except for the special teamers. I think like Lance St. Louis was like a 5.4, 5.5, something like this. So it's a moot point, but more so than anything, it's like as far as his Rivals grade, which I do think is probably a wrong grade. I don't know how they.
He's one of these dudes he's one of these guys that had a big senior season.
Yeah, massive.
Like you just people just catch up with him late, and sometimes you just stick in with a place like Washington State. I'm surprised that Wake Forest didn't offer him his old coach. What was that guy's name? Dickert. He's an offensive. Yeah, I guess he's an offensive guy that. Or wait. I don't know if Dickert's an offensive guy or what, because he did hire what's his name, Arbuckle, that went to Oklahoma to run the offense. So maybe if he's a defensive minded head coach, I'd be interested to see why Wake Forest didn't offer. And the other thing is, how much different is he Is he redundant to Jonathan Cunningham?
I don't know. I honestly,
he's not redundant to Bo Barnes in this class, but he looks a little bit redundant to Cunningham. Both are developmental skinny guys.
I kind of like this kid's. Maybe it's him being a little bit.
I think I might like him a little bit better.
I didn't want to say that too loud, but like I kind of feel like I like the archetype of him better than I do, the other side there. And that's nothing against Cunningham at all. I mean, he's a 4-star for a reason. He's a very good player. But I like the long, lanky, developmental projectile build in a player that
Cunningham's long and lanky.
I'm not even, but I don't think I look at Cunningham as a guy that can play middle. Like I don't think when I look at like this AJ Tuitele guy from Mojave, like I look at him as like a Nansen develops this kid into potentially trying to be the next. Again, take this with a grain of salt. The next Anthony Hill, like you want him to follow in line and be a player like that. Not him, because obviously Anthony Hill's doing it as a freshman, sophomore. You're looking for this kid to give you something like what Anthony Hill's giving you right now, potentially as like a junior or a senior. When
I
you know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's more like because what you want from Anthony Hill is just go out and be a star, and I'm going to put you in all the best situations and go out and do it. I just think that that's a really unique, a really unique spot that he's in, and I think that I just think when I watch AJ, he's a little bit more just he looks just a tiny bit more situational to me, man. Fast, good landmarks, good angles. I didn't I didn't I didn't think that, I'd have to go back and look and see about some of those high tackles. I thought he was a pretty good form tackler, but I could easily be wrong about that. Um, I just, I guess I'm a little bit with you that I like him. And obviously with Hill gone next year, Leonga Lafau, Ty Anthony, Bo Barnes, Jonathan Cunningham, that's all you got. You're going to need to have somebody developing there with them. So I don't understand Catch saying that it's a complete doesn't understand the numbers, because if you look at the numbers of linebacker, you got to play two of those guys and sometimes three. And Texas after next year is only going to have, five that are returning with any kind of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
You don't even really know what Brad Spence is. He's never played for you. So
yeah, I think dude, I think Brad Spence is the transfer, the non-special teams transfer. Now there's only been 4 of them, but he's the one that I'm most sure about. But still, that's not saying too
it's more
much.
about like he hasn't played in your system on your field in front of you for you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But so yeah, we'll have to see with him. But and I haven't done Travis Shaw yet. I did Cole Brevard today, and we can talk about him tomorrow. Hopefully, once I get some sleep tonight and get my voice back, because I have a lot to say about that guy.
Yep. And like I talked about before, the linebackers that in that 2026 class that I wasn't even accounting for, Kosi Okpala from Maid Creek and DeQuivs Beck from Carthage are both linebackers that will be attending Texas's Junior Day this Saturday. That whole list that's growing, changing is over on Jason's 321 column that was up Monday night. So there have been 2 nights ago. You can go over there, find the 321. It's headed with Dia Bell. Some notes about Dia Bell and his visit to Georgia. Also, an in-home visit from Coach Milwee. And again, then you just scroll down the whole list of Junior Day visits is on there, including our favorite Javion Osborne. The other big thing that happened today was Texas was officially minted as the Rivals #1 recruiting class. So Oregon at one point, Alex, through the process, Oregon was tabbed as the #1 team. Oregon lost Dallas Wilson, the receiver from Tampa Tech.
You can't keep all the receivers, dude.
They lost him to the Gators, right? This was like in December, right after he opted out of his letter of intent, went to Florida, and then they also lost a quarterback, like the second quarterback that they had in the class. So they dropped actually from 1 for Rivals down to 5, and Texas officially finishes #1 overall. They edge out Georgia by 7 points. So narrowly, but they are Texas now the consensus #1 team in America in recruiting. Some of the big movers.
Does Texas have the most 5 stars?
That I didn't go through and count. Alabama has #1, number 12, number 15. They have 3. I think Oregon has 3. Ohio State has 3. Actually, no, Oregon has 4. I think Oregon's got it with 4.
But Texas, but Texas has 4.
I don't. I'm like eyeballing it right now. I'm just
Texas has 4, right?
So
Jonah.
Yep. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So Florida has 2. Texas has for Ohio State has. I probably should have looked at this before. I was going to walk through the top guys. Ohio State has 3. Oregon has 4.
That's pretty good, man.
So
We always talk about how, Texas getting whipped in recruiting by Oregon and Ohio State and stuff like that. Texas comes out of the same with 4 or 5 stars.
Alabama had 3
quick.
kids in the top 15, which was a pretty good finish for Alabama. They got Keelan Russell finished as the overall number 1 player.
Oh, really?
Rivals. He jumped.
Is he gonna start next year?
He might.
Play him.
He might over the Washington kid we talked about, Austin Mack last night, 6'6", been now in DeBoer's system for a year. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a competition. Keelan Russell's nice though. When they see that kid spin the football, him and Tavian St. Clair. I see some stuff on social media right now about this Julian Sand kid being, projected as the best
Ohio State upcoming quarterback.
Projected as like the best quarterback in Ohio State history or some BS like this. I think that I don't know what account that was, but Tavian St. Clair is a better ball spinner, a better pocket passer, better pocket quarterback than I think that kid is. Also, like I saw a comp. I think Rivals put the comp up for Tavian St. Clair as like Justin Fields, who was a dual threat. Tavian St. Clair is way closer to CJ Stroud than he is Justin Fields. But anyway, that was the top 3. Keelan Russell, quarterback from Duncanville, finishes number 1 overall, committed to Alabama. Tavian St. Clair drops from number 1 to number 2. He's committed to Ohio State. And then Bryce Underwood, the $10 million man from Belleville, Michigan, commits to Michigan. He is number 3. DeCorian Moore finished number 5, also from Duncanville. So Duncanville,
who was 4?
Elijah Griffin, the other defensive tackle from Georgia that went to Georgia. So he was the one that at one time it was like him and Justice Terry.
People were always comparing the two.
And well, the thing is that they're like buddies, and Terry was committed there. He was trying to get Griffin to go there. He could decommits. Griffin commits. Griffin's trying to get him to go there. It was a whole back and forth thing through the process. So Michael Fasusi finishes number 8 overall, of course, going to Oklahoma. Justice Terry, the highest ranked Texas Longhorn, is at number 11. He dropped 2 spots in the final ranking. Jonah Williams, safety, finishes 16th overall. He dropped 1 spot. Kalik Lockett, the 3rd highest ranked Texas Longhorn, up 32 spots. Alex,
Gosh.
51 overall, up to 19. Which, according to the wide receiver position, it goes DeCorian Moore, Kalik Lockett.
In the whole nation, huh?
The whole nation.
Dude, Texas forever, man. Golly.
You come along. I mean, remember at one point it was like DeCorian Moore versus potentially getting these 3 guys. Or who was that? Was it? It wasn't always McCutcheon. It was Lockett.
No, it was Lockett. Oh, who was it? It was Lockett, French, and it was the other one. DK or
no,
it wasn't McCutcheon.
Kelshawn?
What?
Is it Kelshawn?
No, I wouldn't have ever wanted to. No, not Kelshawn.
I'm just trying to remember the names that were in it.
Who were the other top wide receivers in Texas? Or was that in the guy that was from out of state? Somebody in the chat will tell us who was Texas after. They were after the 4 guys super hard. Did one of them go to LSU?
French, Lockett, and I'm scrolling. Gosh, I can't believe I airmailed on my thought process there.
Yeah, but
I can't find it.
I understand what you were saying. There was a time where we were doing the hypotheticals. Would you rather have DeCorian Moore or maybe it was Andrew Marsh was saying, or maybe it was maybe the question was, would you rather get DK Moore or would you rather get French and Lockett? That could have been the question.
It could have been.
But even with the question being that, you look at it's like Lockett's basically ranked as high as DK Moore now.
I mean, there's a clear tier break in their ranking, I guess you'd say, from 5 to 19 as far as the receiver position, but it's still like, I mean, Lockett's back to back with Pettijohn, Riley Pettijohn, the linebacker going to Ohio State. He's 2 spots below Jonah Williams. Like, we're talking about high end guys that were like thought of going through the process at an entirely different level of conversation than Lockett really was throughout the entire process. I think from the national media, right? Like when we were talking about these guys, it was like how important it was to get a Pettijohn, or how important it was to get a Jonah Williams. Like Lockett was important to get, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he never got the credit from that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, he's getting it now, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with those guys. What I wanted to talk about was why he golly, dude. I guess I caught something bad at the hospital when I was there with my mom this weekend. I think I got the flu or some kind of COVID. I just sound horrible. Um I wanted to find the list of all the Texas guys though and where they fell to because I didn't like, okay, does it make sense? So I can understand that. So Jamie French takes a big fall. We were talking about maybe Jamie French falls to from 5-star status to like number 33 or something like that. But he falls all the way to 48. He's behind KJ Lacey now,
Dumb.
which seems wild to me. And then you got Cade Phillips at 71, but totally fine. McCutcheon at 94. Michael Terry at 106. But then these next two, James Simon and Grayson Littleton at 110 and 127 over Sharma, Bo Barnes, Townsend, and Myron Charles. I think it's fine that they're ahead of Nikolai Brooks. I think it's fine that they're ahead of Smith Orogbo. But I would have James Simon and Grayson Littleton behind Sharma, Barnes, Townsend, and Charles. And to me, that seems pretty obvious, but I'd be curious to hear what you think, or if there's something that has there been talk about James Simon being super good at one of these all-star games or something, or like they obviously overvalue it.
Simon dropped 6 spots in the last update. He's currently RB8 in the country. So it's Harlem Berry going to LSU from Matier, Louisiana. He's number 14 in the country. Clear cut. And then I think it's like Anthony Rogers from going to Ohio State. He was 85th. That was the tier break. It's really Harlem Berry and then a massive drop off down to 85. I'm trying to find the other number. I think it was like there was like a bunch of guys in the 80s. And then Simon's at 110. So it's like he's considered in that next group. 76, 79, 82, 97. Jordan Davison finished up 97. The running back out of St. Mater.
He fell. Yeah.
And which I think is
he's going to end up being underrated.
He's going to end up being underrated. Yeah. And then James Simon at 110. And
where did Jordan Davison go again?
Oregon.
But didn't he get too fat?
Well, so he got big, and the rumor was he was over 240 at the elite camp. And then I made like my thread after that camp, and he DM'd me. He's like, "Dude, I'm 228." So I don't know if I should believe that. Straight to the source, he told me he's like, "I weigh 228," and there was a rumor going around he was 240. I think to me, what ended up happening is I think Jordan Davison made a trip to Austin and he stopped in Lakeway and went to Texas Beef Traders. I think he ended up getting a couple of those bone-in ribeyes, and I think he ended up sous videing him, hitting him up, and he stopped and saw Darren. And Darren didn't offer him a beer, but Darren offered him some T-bones. And
Darren doesn't offer underage people beers.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said. He didn't offer him. I said he offered him a T-bone, he offered him a ribeye, and he cut that weight. And he got down to 228, 225. And now Jordan Davison's a value because he stopped at Texas Beef Traders. You can use the QR code right there on the screen. You should stop at Texas Beef Traders because you could also drop 12 pounds just like Jordan Davison did. Just tell him you saw us.
Lean beef, dude. Lean beef, man. Just tell him, man. You heard about him here. Orange Bloods Live. Get 10% off. Tell Darren to bring it to your house, dude. You won't have to go out and sit anywhere and touch any surfaces and get sick. Just
like
have Darren just bring it to your house. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com.
We appreciate everybody.
We appreciate them. While we're talking about them, let's also talk about Cody's shirt. Cody's wearing a great shirt from Poncho Outdoors.
I think I've worn this shirt like
you wear that shirt every day.
I should probably order another one. I probably should. I'm probably going to scan that QR code right now. And I think, Alex, what I'm going to do, because I know we're going to go on a trip here. Actually, I leave in about 36 hours. I'm going to go on to, well, look at that. The QR code worked. I'm now going to poncho.com
All
and
right, nice.
gonna order me up one of the. Look at that one. I like that shirt.
Good looking shirt that old man's wearing.
That's a good
Yeah,
looking.
man, dude, Poncho shirts are awesome. I need to order some more too. Make sure and check those guys out. They're great, great, great sponsors. And yeah, speaking of sponsors, I think that our deals are about to be up with some of these people. And so we've been asked to remind you guys that if there's anybody interested in sponsoring the show, Cody, do you want to talk to them about this?
Yes, if you want to sponsor the show, you want to sponsor a call, you want to sponsor anything over at Orange Bloods, it's doing really well. I mean, our show particularly is averaging over 7,500 views every night. We're doing the show every single night. You come on over to orangebloods.com. If you want to advertise your business to thousands of Longhorn fans, whether it's on like the board over at Orange Bloods or here on Orange Bloods Live, contact Sonny Nelson today to become a sponsor of an Orange Bloods Live show, or call them over on orangebloods.com. Email her at Sonny Nelson, SUNNYNELSON, Sonny Nelson at orangebloods.com, or you can call her 512-924-4038. I promise you it'll be worth your time, because it's fun as hell being here on Football with Friends, and it's even funner than hell when we can sponsor a great company like Poncho, like Texas Beef Traders, and like Specs.
Yeah.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers, to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets.
Cody got me. Cody caught me slipping. Telling you, man, I'm in the brain fog. But no, I was gonna say just one more thing about sponsorships. There's never been anybody that we've worked with that hasn't been just wildly successful with these partnerships. So give Sonny a call, figure out how we can work with you. All right. Cody, I have some topics that I had brought up that I kind of had for some sort of Wednesday topics. If you want to hit those before we get out of here, is there anything else that you had on the agenda?
No, I think we can hit those. I did see a question from the chat asking who the lowest ranked Texas prospect is. They haven't finished doing their positional rankings, and all they have, I think it was Sark After Dark dropped the question. They haven't dropped their complete composite positional rankings. They just went through their top 250. So the lowest ranked player inside the top 250 right now for Texas is Smith Orogbo. He's at 241, the edge from Hastings in Houston. He is at 241. I think the next lowest app before him is it's like 196. I think it's Nick Brooks. So that's kind of where we're looking right now. But they're going to continue to release those rankings as the week goes on. So
Yeah,
appreciate you guys.
If you so Smith, so of the guys, so of the ranked, so okay, so based by their rating, so James Simon, KJ. So is Zealous Hicks not on the list? Top 250? Cunningham's not on the list.
Zealous Hicks not being in the top 250 is
Kind of weird, right?
That feels wrong. I can't believe that they would.
Jackson Christian, Ricky Stewart, I can understand those.
Wow. I didn't even think about Zealous Hicks.
It's kind of an oversight, right?
Wow.
Yeah. That's the only one I'd have a big problem with. He should probably be over Smith Orogbo. Who knows, though? We'll see when we get the final rankings how that turns out.
They had him ranked as the 20th ranked safety the last time around. Wow.
How about this question? There's a poll on OB asking if Texas wins the Natty, if they would have recruited Cam Scadaboo. Any guesses on the results of the poll?
If Texas wins the Natty, if they would have recruited Scam Gadabo. Well, first off, if they recruited him, like they would have had to get him first.
Well, if they would have landed Cam Scadaboo in the transfer portal.
I'm gonna say the results. My thoughts are different than the results. I bet the results are probably like 65-35. Yes.
Yeah, it was overwhelmingly yes.
What, more than 65?
It was. I think it was actually pretty close to 65 or 70% yes, and 30% no.
I don't think that would have made that big of a.
I mean, being able to get a run game going in these playoffs would have made a big difference, man. Scadaboo's tough. He's tough to defend, dude. I think you add in that piece in for some. I mean, Sark even admitted he wishes he could have had that guy. I'm not saying I think they win a natty with him, but I think they get to the. I think they get. Well, no, because it's not like Texas would go and have to face Ohio State. They have to beat Ohio State right there in the semifinals. But they were close, man. They were within a touchdown before 4th and 1.
You think on 4th and 1 they run the ball?
What kind of question is that, dude? Of course. They ran the ball on 4th and 1 anyway, but it just wouldn't have been number 9. It would have been whatever numbers the Scadaboo was decided to wear. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And they would have pounded it again with them on the next one. They wouldn't have done that toss.
I think that was I think that Scadaboo's going to be so interesting as we continue to go through like the draft stuff. And I think he's going to have a lot of fans. Obviously a lot of people. I'm
going to kind of be one. I mean,
I don't think it's wrong to be a fan of him. But I think especially when you look at like in this draft class, people are going to expect Scadaboo, and maybe he will. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far into the process. We haven't been to these events to talk to people. But like today, if I was to draw out exactly how I think it unfolds, I'm not sure I could make a case for him to be one of the first 7 backs off the field, off the board. And to me, that's putting him in the.
I mean,
I think as far as the national expectation, the fan base expectation, Twitter, all of that, industrial complex of Garbo is going to be like, well, Scadaboo had such a great, and it's like, okay, well, you remember like Jimmer Fredette in like the March Madness tournament?
Well,
and remember him carrying like, was it BYU, like as far as he did?
I think he was like, I don't know. I think it was Gonzaga. I don't know though. I don't watch basketball.
I think Jimmer, I think he was BYU, wasn't he?
I don't know. Probably. You would know much better than me.
Regardless, it was like, I remember it was because you pull up, it was like before, it was like right around Steph, right before Steph Curry, you'd pull up 40 feet, boom. And it was like that magical thing. And to me, Scadaboo, he didn't just have a good run during the college football tournament, which ended up being 2 games, or 1 game. It was actually just 1 game. Texas had that 2 games. And I know he had a good year, but he didn't have a Genty type destructive year. He had a really good year, really above average through the ceiling for what his expectation was. But I think a lot of what that team was built on was heart, belief, grind. I think he has all of those things, but I think we do talking about an NFL draft prospect, just like talking about NBA. Jimmer Fredette didn't translate like hell to the NBA. And I think there's a lot of other people in the same boat from multiple sports for overachieving in college and in the NFL and the NBA. It's just a different level of play. And I'm not saying he's not going to be good. What I am saying is that he's 5'11", 5'10". He's 225 pounds. He's going to run a 4.65, and he can catch the football in the backfield, and he's pretty good at contact balance right now in college.
Pretty good. He was got incredible contact balance.
Oh, yes, but I'm saying in college. But I don't know today if I believe that he'll be one of the first 7 backs off the field, off the board.
All right.
And I think what?
Genty, Hampton, Omarion Hampton from North Carolina.
Henderson Judkins.
Okay. Well, I would say Caleb Johnson. I think I would say, I'll probably, yeah. All right. Yes. Have I said Judkins yet?
Nope.
Judkins, probably Henderson, Ollie Gordon. Yeah. Okay. He's probably going to be around RB7 for me, but I still got to do my formal evals.
And that's the problem is like, even we're talking about number 7, and then we hear people talking about RJ Harvey from UCF. People like listen to Nagy. Nagy's talking about there's teams in the NFL that like RJ Harvey is the highest graded senior, outside of Trayvon Henderson.
I thought you were going to tell me they have the highest graded runner.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
That's
Highest graded senior.
that's
out
one of
there.
those things where Nagy gets in his bag and says that he's heard from a scout that this kid from the University of South Alabama is a franchise changer. You know?
No, but even like that take though, like Scadaboo is a senior, right? So if there's people out there that believe RJ Harvey is the highest graded senior running back outside of Travion Henderson, that means that he's ahead of Scadaboo for people. And I don't think RJ Harvey's this transcendent running back,
No,
right?
he's not at all.
But I also think that personally, I would say from what I've seen so far is that I think I'd take Scadaboo over RJ Harvey.
How many touchdowns did RJ? Oh God. Oh, I didn't know
16?
this. He had 25 touchdowns last year.
Did he? I thought he had like 18 or 16 or something.
I'm looking at our sheet. He had 44% of the offensive productivity for UCF. I mean, that's what. Oh, gosh,
He's at almost 3,000 rushing yards in 2 seasons.
We only have the numbers in so far for the Senior Bowl and the Shrine guys because we're going to be theirs. But so I don't know how that compares to Genty once we do the math. But
Genty's
it's going to be 60% of the offense.
Yeah.
And a quick reminder, just while we're here, before we get out, about scheduling this week. As you guys know, we're going to have some travel coming up in the next couple months. We'll be at the Shrine. Cody will be at the Shrine Bowl. I'll be traveling on Cody and I are both traveling on Friday. We're traveling on Monday as well during the show, Friday and Monday during the show, and then we're coming home on Thursday during the show. So we're not going to have a show on Friday. We'll do a final takes Thursday tomorrow. Then we'll come back on Tuesday live from Mobile. We'll have live shows Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll see if we can get something going maybe a little earlier in the day on Thursday. We need to talk to Catch about that though. But Monday and Friday are going to be completely out the window. So just so you guys know, next week is looking like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but that'll be on location from the Senior Bowl. And Cody will have intel at that point from the Shrine Bowl as well. So yeah. This wanted to get that out there. One more topic here, Cody. Want to see if we can talk about this. So I have an idea on this. Any out of the box ideas for addressing this new tight end situation? It could be cockamamie because mine is cockamamie.
All right, here you go. This is hopefully my cousin's listening or watching because he occasionally jumps in. So this is totally random, off the wall, not going to make any sense for the first minute. The first thing that came to mind when you said out of the box ideas for addressing the new
tight end situation for people who don't know is that Amari Niblack's gone, and it's looking like your frontline guys are like Spencer Shannon and Jordan Washington at this point.
Yep, and the first thing that came to mind when you said out of the box ideas is for those that played like Madden, like I think it was like 07 or 08. You used to be able to cross play players from different positions to different positions. So you could play like Tyreek Hill at center, hypothetically, or you could play a center at receiver. Like you could move players around in Madden at that point in time before they kind of lock stuff up in recent years. At that point, the Raiders were not good, but the Raiders had one thing, Alex, that they continued to draft, and that was speed. Darius Hayward-Bay, Jacoby Ford. So my cousin and I would take Jacoby Ford and we put him at tight end for the Raiders, and you just let him run wild, right? Because nobody could cover him. No linebacker could cover Jacoby Ford.
And Jacoby Ford was jacked. That was during the time when Al Davis, when he's just like every time he's like, just give me big, give me tall, give me speed. I don't care about anything else.
Give me 4.28, give me 4.31. Yeah. Let's just ride. And so we put him in. He's got like 98 overall speed. You put him in a tight end position, and he runs these seam routes, and he's uncoverable. And my brain's not saying to put like a Khalil Locker and Aaron Butler. That's dumb. My brain is telling me, though, is potentially if Michael Terry is that advanced, to put that athlete in that spot and move him around. If he can pick up, the basics this spring, and you can potentially, I don't know. He seems like a very mature player, young man. I feel like if he can pick that thing up, Why not go outside the box? Why not let the freshman athlete? He's an athlete, right? You're looking at him as a receiver, running back, and tight end. Why not let the athlete go out there and make some plays?
Money B's asking a question. Can we get a early projection of each position group heading into spring ball? Money B, maybe that's something we could do on a day where we have a little more time. That would take a whole show, and I would prefer to do it on a day when I'm, when my voice is all right. But that's a good idea. We'll definitely do it, brother. Thank you for the suggestion. All right. The other thing I was going to say, Cody, is that I guess my idea is not so out of the box because that was my exact idea. It's like, why not put Terry in there? Just see. Yeah, just see.
Really?
I mean, but they said, like, whenever they first started recruiting him, they said, we see you in the Jatavion Sanders role. Why not just put him in and see?
Why not?
You know, it's like it's a little bit out of the box, but like it's not. Spencer Shannon, Will Randall, Jordan Washington. These guys play 12 personnel. They need to play two of those guys 45% of the time if they want to stick with what they've done. Now, I think that one thing this means with the tight end situation is more 11 personnel, right? It's just, which will be fine because they'll get to rotate in a lot of these young wide receivers during spring ball and kind of see where those guys are at. But get Michael Terry in there. All right. How about this one? Okay. NFL. Thoughts on Ben Johnson to the Bears? Will he fix Caleb Williams?
I don't think so. I'm not the biggest. I like Ben Johnson as an OC. I do. I love him a lot as an OC. I think we saw that in Detroit, what he could do. I've been in the boat the last few weeks of you go get Aaron Glenn. You don't go get Ben Johnson.
Why does he get so much credit? That defense wasn't really even that good.
It's not about the defense being good. It's about the fact that he was able to continue to cobble that thing together for as long as he did and keep it competitive. And also up here leading men. I don't care about your X's and O's. I mean, Ben Johnson X and O'd his way to 40 plus point games consecutively with a number 1 overall pick, with Jahmyr Gibbs, with Montgomery, with St. Brown, with Laporta, with Jameson. Like, there's a lot of weaponry, and with arguably, if not the best, the second, third best offensive line in football.
Who's the number 1 overall? Am I just brain farting? Oh, I guess Goff back in the day was the number 1 overall pick. Okay, I kind of don't think about Goff as I just think of Goff as Goff these days. But yeah,
100%. I get it. I know. But I think in totality, like what he got on that offense was, yes, I'm not saying he didn't help it, but he was the main driver of it. But from a leader of men standpoint, which is what you want in a coach, nobody's going out saying, yeah, Dan Campbell's the best defensive coordinator in football, or yeah, Dan Campbell's the best offensive coordinator in football, right? They went out and said, this is a leader of men. This is a dude that's going to come in and lead this team to where it needs to be. And what do the Jets need, Alex? What do the Bears need?
They had it with Robert Saleh. I think the Jets are doomed to like and it's always the thing that I say, you bring in these defensive head coaches and if you do manage to get a hot offensive coordinator, next thing you know, it's a Ben Johnson or it's a Liam Cohen. I can't believe, why aren't the Cowboys going after Liam Cohen after the Jaguars screwed that whole thing up by not firing Balky and then coming back and firing him after they realized that nobody wants the job because they don't want to be attached to Balky. Like, I wonder now if Cohen, even though he signed the new contract to make him like the richest OC in the league, can he get out of that and go back to Jacksonville or maybe talk to Dallas?
Contractually, I have no idea what the contract looks like. The contract might have you can't rip this up and you within the next 30-day type of deal. I don't know. He definitely botched it. I would say Liam did. He got paid and he's in the same spot. But it was weird because the video from 2 weeks ago, Khan and Belky sat in that video together, and Khan was asked if one of the prospective coaches comes in and does not want to move forward with Belky, or they didn't say Belky, if they don't want to move forward with the front office, what would you do? And Khan said, well, I would ask them why and what their plan is and how they see the future. And then if I agree with it, then we move forward in that direction, which is moving on from Belky. And I mean, it's apparent that the last 2 weeks have went that direction, that nobody wants to go work with Balky.
But they said they were pleased with the interview with
and
Cohen. They thought they were going to get him. It went really well. And you figure if
That's what I'm saying.
they thought it went really well and they didn't do anything with Balky, I wonder if Liam Cohen didn't tell him, you got to get rid of this if he wasn't clear enough.
That's what I was getting to, was I'm saying, like, that was the thing. Like, they literally said this, and then they went and had and said the best. They said the best interview was Liam Cohen. They let Cohen leave, and then he goes and signs that contract, and there's no communication. There was either no communication there, or Shad Khan. I don't know. But that was exactly what the point was that I was getting to. But I think that one of the two sides dropped the ball in the end of that, because obviously Cohen didn't want Balky there, and Khan saw that, so then he made the move. But who made the move first? I don't know.
Well,
I don't
it'd
know.
be something cool to dig around at the combine. Cody, do you want to get us out of here, brother? We'll see everybody tomorrow.
I do. We appreciate you guys. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe on the way out. Again, if you want to sponsor us, do something with the show, sponsor a column over on Orange Bloods, you can do that. Orange Bloods Live. Email Sonny Nelson at orangebloods.com. He's Alex Dunlap. I'm Cody Carpentier. We appreciate you. We love you. We hope you good health. It's January. It's flu season. It's sick season. It's cold outside. Hopefully it's warm soon. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow night.